All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to week 7 or module 7. I started to say week and my brain was trying to say module, so that probably sounded like I'm having a stroke. On the screen, you should be able to see the introduction to module 7. I'll be honest with you, I can't believe we've got 2 more weeks left in this course. And for you, the student, that's probably a good thing because it obviously gets you one step closer to that magic degree that you're shooting for. And you guys have been great. This has been a really good class. I have learned a lot in working with you. Several of you have some great experiences that you've shared. Some of you don't have a lot of experience, but you've shared some ideas and concepts and thoughts that really support the topic. So kudos to everyone, particularly, you know, all the interaction that we've had. So I didn't do a PowerPoint, kind of mixing it up just a little bit, but you can see the learning objectives. There's only one this week, and it's really focusing on remote work. And, the pandemic, if it didn't do anything, it focused on how organizations can survive with the workers not being physically in the office. Now, that said, there's a whole plethora of issues that you find in that, nest egg, if you will, of people working at home. I know within our own organization, where I'm at now, we don't like to do remote work. I do a little bit every great once in a while, but the CEO is not a big fan of it. He's kind of old school, and that's okay. At a previous organization, we did some remote work, but we noticed that productivity kind of tapered off fairly quick after people were at home. So it was kind of hard to say, hey, and in some respects, we had internet issues and things like that. So we tried to bring those people back to the office and help, get some of that work done. But there's a lot of organizations, they're doing remote work and it's great and they're fine. I have a distant relative. He's probably a second cousin by marriage, but and I'll be honest with you, I don't remember what organization he worked for, but he was in San Francisco, so he's up around the Silicon Valley. And I almost want to say Google, but don't hold me to that. He started at Google, was in the office working. Pandemic hits, and they said, we're going to send you folks home. You're going to work from home. They have still not went back to the office, and as a matter of fact, him and his wife have moved to Washington State, and they've moved out of the area because they didn't want to live in San Francisco, partially due to the cost and the crime and a number of other factors that just they drove them out of the area. So they're working remotely. I know in my own experience, previous to moving to New Mexico, I lived in the Wichita, Kansas area, and our realtor was talking to us when we put our house on the market, and she made the comment. She goes, a lot of folks are moving to Wichita, Tulsa, things like that from the larger cities simply because they are remotely working and their organizations have said, you can live wherever you want as long as you get on and do your work. So there's a lot of things that are beneficial to that, but there are also some issues that might cause other complaints or concerns. Productivity, I kind of already alluded to. Um, Obviously, maintaining infrastructure and things like that, communicating. Our training person had an office within our building. We had to kind of redesignate that for a new director that we've hired. So now she's on the same campus, probably, 1,000 feet away in another building that we designated as our training room, but she's just far enough away that we've already seen some issues where she's over there the majority of the day from the rest of the HR team, and she kind of feels a little left out on some things. So, those are obviously things that you have to be concerned about as well. And how are you going to ensure communication and things like that? Now, obviously, that's all part of employee relations that we need to address. So, kind of the topic in a high-level overview, and I've probably rattled on more than I need to. You can see in the resources there's some reading. One of the assignments refers to the video down here, the equity and equality video. So you might want to make sure that, I know I'm honest enough to know that I don't manage to get all the reading done every week. I'm working on grading and other things like that, and I have a job and a life like all of you do. But certainly, probably, particularly since it mentioned it in one of the assignments, it'd probably be a good video to make sure you get. And you can see this, so please, if I'm scrolling a little faster than you're used to, don't panic over it. But there's a number of things to read, and they're really good articles. That's one of the things I do care for about SNHU. The resources are applicable. Some places I've been, it's like, why am I reading this? It has nothing to do with it. Big assignment for the week is submit project 2. Please make sure you do that. And I'm going to bring up the guidelines and rubric because there's some contingents from what we did last week. If you start reading the scenario, you see your company went through the union campaign, majority of employees, blah, 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 da, da, da. So really what we're looking for, and I'm going to scroll down here, the gist of it is you've got 2 parts. So we've got that union grievance, which you did in your milestone 1. So key concerns, union and non-union, employee confidence relations, risk potential. Please look at the feedback that you received on your previous assignment rubric, because when I look at your revised memo or your revised document, I'm going to pull up your old one, and I've got 2 screens at work, so I'll probably just do it at work, and I'll bring up the 2 of them and look and see, okay, yeah, we got this, no, we didn't. Big things, differentiate a little bit. It doesn't have to be a whole paragraph necessarily, but a paragraph on the 2 differences would be useful. And there are, in terms of discipline and things like that, the big component points are going to be the CBA, where the non-union employee doesn't typically have a bargaining agreement to fall back on, but things to think about as you address that. Excuse me. And then risk potential is kind of the other area that I've seen some concerns. So focus on, 3 big areas. Legal. How's it going to impact us from a legal perspective? And that includes monetary and non-monetary. Culture, and then I was going to break out the money versus the non-money. So, monetary stuff, fines, sanctions, however you want to term that. The non-monetary, which kind of ties back to employee relations, but those are those negative reviews on Glassdoor and Indeed that you see, and then of course culture, which ties into that as well, because as one student put it, the tensions between the union and the non-union employees may be increased as well. And then the second part, and this is the new part, is the investigative process, in which, outline the role of the HR. And you've done some of that in your union grievance document, that milestone 1. And then interview questions and stakeholder communication. And then lastly, employee communication. If you have questions about your previous document, or if you have questions about the new assignment, please reach out. I'm happy to visit with you about it. We'll work through it together to help you understand good, bad, or indifferent, so you can go from there. So I think that is the only assignment for this week, if I recall correctly. Let me kind of switch views and go. I'm going to back out to the high-level view, because sometimes, let's see, Module 7. All right, so facilitation notes, introduction. Yeah, 7.1 or 7-1, Project 2. So you should have plenty of time to work on that and submit a quality document. With that in mind, I'm going to close out. We're almost at 10 minutes, and I've rattled on quite a long time. So great work, everybody. Continue. We're in the last 2 weeks in that home stretch. You're doing a great job. So thanks. Have a good week.